Every empire had an army, kingdom had a ruler, trade that quaged history forever. Welcome to History Behind Money. Some ideas changed civilizations, and some ordinary objects became the most valuable things on Earth. Every road, bridge, and city around us exists because of something most people rarely think about. For over 5,000 years, civilizations have collected taxes to build empires, armies, and the foundations of modern society. The answer begins in the world's first cities, where people paid taxes long before money even existed. Long before coins, banks, or governments existed, people were already paying taxes. More than 5,000 years ago, in the world's first great cities, people were already contributing part of their harvest to support their growing civilization. There was no money yet. Taxes were paid with valuable goods such as grain, livestock, and labor. The center of society was often the temple. It was where food and resources were collected, stored, and redistributed. Each family was expected to contribute a portion of its harvest to support the needs of the city. To keep track of these contributions, scribes recorded every payment on clay tablets. These records became some of humanity's earliest written documents. Officials could identify who had paid, how much they contributed, and what resources were available. These resources helped build irrigation systems that brought water to thousands of farms. Irrigation networks increased food production and allowed cities to grow larger than ever before. Taxes also helped support guards and administrators who maintained order throughout the city. Stored resources could be used during times of drought, famine, or emergency.
Thousands of years later, archaeologists would discover the evidence hidden beneath the sands.
These tablets proved that organized taxation existed long before coins, kingdoms, or modern governments. The world's first tax system was born from a simple idea. Everyone contributes a little so society can achieve something much greater together. In ancient Egypt, taxation followed the rhythm of the Nile itself, shaping one of the greatest civilizations in history. In ancient Egypt, taxes followed the rhythm of the Nile River itself. Each year, officials assessed how much each farmer had produced after the flood season. A portion of every harvest was collected and stored in massive royal granaries. This system ensured that food was available even when floods were low or crops failed. Liquid Firaton Toplajoil.
Akbanda, Adro!
This labor, known as corvée work, helped build some of the most iconic structures in history. The pyramids were not built by slaves alone, but by organized workers contributing to the state. Every contribution was carefully recorded on papyrus to maintain control over the kingdom's resources. The Nile served as a highway, connecting farms, cities, and storage centers across Egypt. Temples acted as both religious and economic centers, managing much of the collected resources. During difficult times, stored taxes were redistributed to support the population. Thanks to taxation, Egypt became one of the most stable and powerful civilizations in human history. Rome didn't just collect taxes, it turned them into an engine that built an empire across 3 continents. If Egypt mastered taxation through rivers and harvests, Rome perfected it through organization and scale. In Rome, taxes were collected in both money and goods, depending on a citizen's wealth and occupation. One of the greatest achievements funded by taxes was Rome's vast network of roads. These roads and aqueducts connected cities and brought fresh water across the empire. Taxes also funded a professional army that protected Rome's vast borders. Rome used taxes not only for infrastructure, but also to maintain governance and public life. The Roman economy relied heavily on standardized currency and systematic taxation. For the first time, taxes helped connect an empire spanning 3 continents. Public services became a defining feature of Roman civilization. Taxes helped maintain safety, order, and daily life, even after sunset. But as empires fell and new kingdoms rose, taxation became far more controversial. For many people, taxes felt like a heavy burden rather than a shared responsibility. Kings relied on taxes to fund wars, castles, and royal courts. Much of the tax revenue was used to finance constant warfare between kingdoms. As taxes increased, frustration among common people began to grow. In many regions, heavy taxation led to unrest and rebellion.
We cannot afford to feed our children.
We must stand together against this tyranny.
Over time, people began demanding limits on how rulers could impose taxes. One of the most important turning points was the Magna Carta in 1215. It marked the beginning of the idea that rulers should not have unlimited power over taxation. Centuries later, similar tensions appeared in the American colonies. In France, taxation and inequality helped spark one of the most powerful revolutions in history. These revolutions changed how the world viewed taxation forever, leading to systems where citizens had a voice. Today, taxes no longer build pyramids, but they still build the world we live in. Today, taxation exists in almost every country in the world. But instead of grain or labor, taxes are now collected digitally. Tax money builds roads, bridges, and transportation networks that connect entire nations. It also funds hospitals, healthcare systems, and life-saving medical services. Education systems around the world are also supported by tax contributions. Taxes also maintain safety, law enforcement, and emergency services. Even the internet and digital infrastructure rely on public funding in many countries.
From clay tablets to smartphones, the purpose has never changed.
Taxes help transform individual effort into collective progress. Across thousands of years, the system has evolved, but its purpose remains the same. Taxes are one of humanity's oldest inventions, and one of its most important. What began as simple offerings of grain has become a system that shapes the modern world. From ancient empires to modern nations, taxation has always been the invisible force behind civilization. And even today, every road you walk on, taxation is part of that same ancient story.